Hello, it's another episode of NME's Albums Club. I'm Leonie Cooper.
I'm Dan Stubbs.
And we're going to talk about loads of albums today.
So many albums. It's a bumper album. So we missed last week, so there's a couple to catch up on. Yeah,
so a couple from last week, a couple from this week, one classic album and one amazing best of.
Yeah. And I mean today, so there's been a couple of albums released today that are...
Huge.
Huge.
Huge albums day.
The first one is...
The first one.
Very long awaited. It's the first album by...
One Direction's, former One Direction. Or is he still in One Direction?
I mean...
Doubtful,
isn't it? He says they might come back. But anyway, it is...
Which one is it? Oh, it's this guy.
Harry Styles.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. We gotta get away.
And here it is, the Harry Styles debut album. I think we should open it up so people at home can see, because you just see his lovely back. Lovely back.
He's looking casual. So he's
casually moist.
Rocking his new style. He's very wet in almost all the pictures for this. Here's a picture of his sort of crying eye.
Oh,
which is quite
it's
beautiful.
an emotional record.
Yeah. I mean, it is. So
let's talk about this record. It's a very interesting record, I think.
So there's 5 One Directions.
There are.
Zayn was huge news when he put his debut album out.
He was the first one to go as well, wasn't he?
And he went down that kind of sort of future R&B weekend route and did very well with it.
Yeah.
And then you have to say that the one that people were really thinking the guaranteed solo success is Harry Styles.
It's cheeky Harry. I'd like to have a little picture of his face just so we can gaze upon him. Yeah, Harry is, I always thought Harry was the interesting one. Harry is the one, he's like the Robbie Williams, not necessarily in sound, but he's the one who has the twinkle in his eye, the one who's like, he knows something.
Yeah.
He knows something that the other guys don't. I don't know what that is. And I'm not sure if we found out on this album. But an intriguing record because it doesn't sound, it's not an obvious sounding record in some ways. It doesn't sound like 2017. It sounds like the 70s. It sounds like the 80s. Where is Harry from? Like Staines or somewhere?
Cheshire. No, he's from Cheshire.
Cheshire, right. Okay, so this album sounds very much like an LA album.
Yeah.
And he's recorded it in LA. He recorded it also in Jamaica, which is nice. I suppose if you've got the money, why not? Why not go to Jamaica? Yeah. But there's songs on this album that sound like ZZ Top. There's songs on this album that sound like Aerosmith. But then on the flip side, there's all this big rock stuff. But then there's like a Bon Iver sounding number and all this kind of Laurel Canyon, intimate, folksy ballads from the 70s, songs that they sound like they could have been written about Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down in my notes here, Pink Floyd, like the first track sounds a bit like a Pink Floyd track, which is insane. But yeah, I mean, it is an odd album for, how old did you say he was, 22?
He's 22, he's still a young man.
See, it's like the album sort of projects the image of a man who's kind of seen too much. Like, I get that he's been in a band.
He's been around a bit.
I get, he's seen the world, he's done a lot of stuff.
You live an accelerated life, maybe, being in a very successful band.
The songs here that if Rod Stewart put them out, you think, yeah, fair enough, Rod.
Oh, it's a little bit Rod, isn't it?
There's a bit where he talks about a woman being a devil in between the sheets. Like, I've never heard a young person talk like that.
That's a little bit Top Gear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of a devil between the sheets.
Lyrics by Clarkson. But I mean, there's some good stuff on there, there's some bad stuff, there's a lot of kind of borrowed stuff.
A lot of, well, like I was saying, the ZZ Top, there's Eagles stuff as well. There's a lot of kind of Eagles riffs. Yeah. So, I don't know, is this his music taste? Is this what Harry goes home and puts the best of the Eagles on?
Apparently. I mean, we were told before it came out, we were told Bowie and Queen and you know, the first single that came out, Sign of the Times, which itself borrowed title from Prince. Yeah. This was, it has the kind of bit of that Bowie noise from, you know, when Major Tom's lifting off. Yeah,
but I think that's the only one that does have that Queen Bowie sound. I think the rest is much more American. There's the song on it, Carolina, as well, which sounds like something from Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club.
Okay, I was going to be kind of and say Beck's Odorlite.
What do you mean, kind of? Because Sheryl Crow is amazing.
That's true, actually. I think no disrespect to Sheryl.
An excellent compliment to sound like a Sheryl Crow song. It's a bit like All I Want to Do Is Have Some Fun. It's got that kind of 90s swagger to it. But yeah, it's a Sunset Strip rocker.
So it's good, but it's just a weird one, isn't it? It's like I don't know who it's for exactly. But then when you think back to One Direction, like some of their songs were like directly nicked off, well, actually, legally speaking, some songs were reminiscent of The Who or Def Leppard, and you know. The teenage fans went for those, so the grown-up teenagers...
Exactly, well they're not teenagers anymore, many One Direction fans. Yeah. They're probably going through different record collections and like wanting to listen to new things, but still wanting to look at a moist Styles. They're in, is it
the best
a bath?
Styles.
It looks like he's got one of those lush bath bombs and it's just gone mad.
There's also a bit of chat in there about this song Two Ghosts, because it's got, is it about Taylor Swift is the big chat. So it's same lips red, same eyes blue. And it talks about these...
1 second,
Taylor... talks about these two ghosts and how his heart never feels anymore.
They went out for like a week, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought, but you know.
When you're 18, so. That kind of stuff...
That is true,
really gets to you. So Harry Styles, I give it a 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna concur on your 3 out of 5 there. Yeah.
Harry Styles. So, yeah. Next up. Next up is an album that came out last week, but it's in line to be #1 today.
Yeah, to knock the mighty Sheeran off.
Knock off the mighty Sheeran. It is.
Kasabian's For Crying Out Loud. Brackets 2017.
Just so you know. Right, so Kasabian's 6th album. The last 4 have all gone to #1.
Yep.
So if this doesn't go to #1 today, what are they playing at?
Also, it's better than the last few albums, so...
I like it.
I'm holding in my hands, apparently, this is the saviour of guitar music, says Serge.
Oh, well, of course, Serge.
I don't know if it needed saving.
Can I just say one thing about Serge?
Yeah.
Serge Pizzorno. Do you know what his home studio is called?
I do, but for the purposes of this, no.
The Surgery.
Well, that is clever.
Spelt as the name Serge would be spelt, so spelt incorrectly.
And I think that wit comes through on this album. Like an early lyric here says, "Taste like the taste of macaroni on a seafood stick." I mean, that's a bizarre lyric to stick in anything.
He's dipping his things in the wrong things, isn't he? He's gone a bit crazy there. So yeah, this is, like I said, the 6th album. This guy is their roadie, who apparently says often, "For crying out loud."
Right, okay.
Yeah, so that's why that has happened.
But I think, sorry.
I know, I was just going to say, I like it. It's banging, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's got loads of huge choruses. It's just kind of a good collection of songs that are meant for like playing on big stages, and it follows them doing the, like I guess they wrote it after the Leicester City win, which they were hugely involved in, and then there was the kind of
about that,
the King Power Stadium shows, the Victoria Park shows, the Glastonbury headline sets. So this is a band who kind of were at the peak of the powers. I guess there's that choice, like, do we go weird? Do we kind of do this? And they just thought, nah, we'll just make like a absolutely banging album.
Well, apparently what happened was Serge set himself the challenge of writing an album in 6 weeks, and he wanted to kind of replicate kind of Motown Hit Factory. So he just got in the surgery, put his white coat on, got the implements out, fingers maybe, I don't know how you write a song, and wrote these 12 songs. My favourite being "Bless This Acid House."
Me too.
Which sounds like a Status Quo song gone mad. It's got such a catchy chorus that it's almost stupid how catchy the chorus is. And there's "You're in Love with a Psycho," very unwoke title there for that song.
Can't knock that song though.
But you can't knock it, it's great. And but it's such a party record as well. Okay, there's a song, "The Party Never Ends." Are you looking for action? All through the night. Like, these guys are up for a good time. And apparently also this is the album that saved Tom Meehan's life. Because while Kasabian had a sort of a good year last year, what with the Leicester winning the stuff, apparently Tom split up with his wife and was really sad. So Serge was like, here are some fun songs.
Well, that's, I mean, their friendship is the thing at the heart of Kasabian, isn't it? So it's nice to...
The ultimate bromance.
Yeah. So, so great album. I'm going to give it 4.
I'm also going to give it 4.
Well, there we are.
That's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Consensus is reached.
I just want to show you this again. Whee.
Psychedelic.
It's rowdy, isn't it? Next, we're going to talk about the Paramore album, which is also out today. So Paramore's new album is out today. It is their 5th album. It is called After Laughter, or After Laughter.
Yeah.
And
as I would say.
Yes, the South, the North. And I like it.
I love it, actually.
It's really poppy. So they went a bit poppy on their last album, Paramore, 2013. But this one, they're just like, they're never even emo. Like, you can't even think of when they're emo, because this is just total, really kind of 80s power pop. Lots of, it reminds me of Heart at times.
I'm going to say Belinda Carlisle.
Oh, the Bangles.
Yeah.
I think it
but
sounds
also
like the Bangles.
a bit Taylor Swift. Like, some of these could be Taylor Swift songs.
Also very Haim as well.
Yeah.
That kind of glossy LA sound. And there's a little kind of, there's tropical stuff going on as well, the sound of the moment, or maybe the sound of 2016.
So is it tropical pop or is it sunny funk, which is a new one for you?
Oh, sunny funk.
Yeah.
Is that my nephew?
But so it's like I think it's about 10 years since Riot came out, which was a big breakthrough.
Yes, yeah.
And you know, they've kind of consistently kept the popularity while behind the scenes some kind of there's been quite a lot of comings and goings.
Yeah.
The coming this time is that drummer Zach Farrow is back.
Yeah, so he left years ago and is now back. So Hayley is kind of the only consistent member.
There's two of them who are consistent. I've forgotten it. Sorry.
Paralads.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a really strong collection of pop songs. It's absolutely brilliant, and I think the fans will go along with it, even though it's not kind of there's not much rock on there that you could call rock.
No, there's a couple of kind of nods to their rock past. There's one song on there that sounds like early No Doubt, which kind of got a kind of bouncy ska punk thing, and then there's this other one which is just a guy sort of moaning. It's called No Friend.
Oh,
and in fact, quite a lot of the lyrics are quite moany as well. They're quite sad lyrics throughout the album.
Emo comes through.
So the emo is in the lyrics, if not the sound, and they're just, it sounds like things haven't been that good for Hayley of late, but put a brave face on it.
Well, from Hard Times comes great music, but and Hard Times is, of course, the
Hard Times is really good.
Amazing single, definitely one of the best singles of the year so far, I think. And it's got a little Daft Punky vocoding bit at the end, doesn't it, which is always enjoyable.
Yes.
So that's that.
So 4 out of 5?
Not to always just agree with you, but yeah, 4 out of 5.
It's a 4 out of 5. We're in sync, Dan.
Yeah.
We're in sync. Next album we can talk about is one from last week, but it's really good. Loads of good albums at the moment. I'm blessed, truly blessed. It is Mac DeMarco's This Old Dog.
All we've had, all that's next.
Okay, here it is. It is Mac DeMarco's 3rd album?
Yeah, 3rd album.
Yes.
I think it's safe to say if you like Mac DeMarco albums, you'll like this album.
You'll like this album. Should we do a little... There he is. Look at him. Little cheeky Mac. So Mac DeMarco has built this persona, which is this kind of cheeky guy in dungarees who is game for a laugh, will do crazy things on stage.
Goofball, you might say.
He's wacky, he's zany. But this album sort of cuts through that, and he's singing lovely songs about his family, about his friends. It's quite emotional. What I like about Mac DeMarco is how he describes his own music, which is jizz jazz.
Right, okay.
That's also the name of his home studio. And it's quite...
You know what everyone's home studio is called, that's quite weird.
But jizz jazz, that's what it is. It's jazzy, but it's a little bit jizzy too.
It's a little bit more grown up, isn't it?
A little bit,
It's kind of tried to do away with some of the goofier elements. I think at times it touches a little bit too close to Jack Johnson.
Whoa!
Yeah, but, you know, people like Jack Johnson. But
the boxer.
Well, yeah, and there's some really good. I love the kind of the synth noises. It's quite one note. It's quite a slow album. It kind of lures you into this pace.
Quite samey is a word you could say if you didn't like it, but I do like it. I like the sameness. It's sort of like...
I was going to say, in a nicer way, it forces you to listen to it at its pace rather than, you know, it makes you... It puts you in a mood, which is a great thing.
It's a feet up kind of summer record. It's a barbecue record.
Yeah,
not that I'm suggesting you should pop it on the barbecue, but maybe when you've got some friends over, some beers, some hot meat.
So I'm giving it another 4.
Oh, it's another 4, isn't it, for that sunny acoustic slacker sound?
Yeah. Cool.
It's a 4. It's Mac DeMarco. Now it's time for a best of. We don't normally do best of, but this best of is very, very best of. It's very nice. It's Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks. Where secret...
So here it is. It's heavy.
I mean, it weighs a ton.
Feel the weight of that.
There are only 3 records in it.
There are 3 heavy records in it. But is there... So it's called Lovely Creatures. It's the best of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, 1984 to 2014. Now, apparently this was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, but tragically, Nick Cave's son died, so he put this on ice quite understandably for a couple of years. But now it is out, and it is a truly lovely, lovely thing, and we're very glad it has come out. Look at all of these Bad Seeds. There's so many of them. I can't hold it up. It's so heavy. Thank you. Just want a little bit of help there.
Yeah.
So this is all the people who've played with the band, been in the band over the past 32 years. The album, there he is, the man himself. Yeah. Gorgeous.
I'm going to say controversially, if you wanted the best of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, You could just get side D, because it's got Into My Arms, one of the most beautiful songs ever written, and then Red Right Hand, one of the best songs ever about wanking. So these 4 tracks, that is the best of Nick Cave
and the Mercy Seat.
Exactly.
As well.
They are, yeah. So
literally just get it and then go straight there. In fact, there's many versions of this. There's a CD one that comes with a big book as well. There's loads of stuff going on. I just think this is a lovely thing. Any Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds fan?
Yeah.
Oh, it's embossed.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's a lovely package. If you want to work on your kind of arm muscles as well, this is the one for you. So
a couple of them.
There we are. Lovely creatures.
Wonderful cinematic songs of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. There we go. Now, you ready for the classic album portion of the show? 50 years since this belter of a debut came out. Dan, what is it?
It is Jimi Hendrix. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, I should say.
Of course.
Are you experienced? So,
there it is.
Let me take you back 50 years. The Summer of Love.
Oh, brilliant. I love that summer. It was a great
Swing
summer.
in London. This fella moves over from the west coast of America.
So he'd been playing in like R&B bands as a backing guitarist. No one really paid attention to him. And there was it Chaz Chandler from The Animals. It was like, come to London.
Yeah, and
your fortune awaits.
And then that connected him to that whole world. So I think it was the Who's label signed him, was it? Trax Records, which is the Who's manager. He kind of took in the kind of psychedelic rock that was happening in Britain, but with a harder edge, an R&B sound.
More capes.
Obviously, capes.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's like phenomenally amazing guitar skills, and
he's pretty
came up
good
with
at
this
guitar,
kind of like
isn't he?
really, for the time, really hard-edged sound. But I guess to put it in context, this was kept off #1 by Sgt. Pepper.
Which, I mean, if anything's going to keep you off #1, maybe Sgt. Pepper, my personal favourite Beatles album. Not everyone's.
Save that for a future albums club.
Yeah.
But we have here the UK version of the album.
Because we are in the UK, so...
Scotty said isn't as good as the American version.
No, the American version has all the singles on it. It's really weird that they released this out. It's got some amazing songs on it, not least... what's good on it?
Foxy Lady.
Fire. Foxy Lady, a song about Heather Taylor, a London socialite, who eventually married Roger Daltrey.
Here's what you could have won though in the American one.
Oh.
The Wind Cries Mary.
Great.
Purple Haze.
Yeah.
And Hey Joe.
Yeah, bangers.
But,
bangers one and all.
But yeah, I mean, a phenomenal album, really kind of like nothing else at the time. And you can go to this house, you can go to the flat where he wrote this in London now.
Is that the one that's the one next to Handel's house?
Yeah, you can do some classical and some classic rock in the same time.
Wouldn't it be funny if they lived there at the same time? Handel would be really old.
You banging on the wall,
like, you keep that noise down, Jimmy. Up all night with your influential guitar playing, with your teeth behind your head. There he is, with the teeth, not behind the head. But yeah, just a great album. Really influential in various genres. Sort of created heavy metal, created psychedelia, all of these things. But kind of mostly just because of what an amazing guitar player this young guy was.
Will you be wearing your cape this weekend to celebrate?
I always wear a cape at the weekend.
Okay. So there we are. We suggest you do the same. Wear a cape to celebrate Jimi Hendrix 50th anniversary of this album. And I guess that is Album Club for this week.
That is our tune in next week for more albums. They
Not
literally
quite as many
release
albums,
them.
Though.
They release them every week.
Yeah, it happens a lot, yeah.
It's great.
I
love it. That keeps us in work, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.